Hi guys, I hope you are practicing radical self-care. I hope that you are, living well. I hope that you are keeping the focus on you, getting the focus off of the external and getting it onto the internal, which is what you can do. Oh, that's a motorcycle, which is what you can do to heal yourself. And to learn how to set healthy boundaries, because I really feel that healthy boundaries and knowing who we are and getting really clear on our core values and then, acting in a way where we're living up to and we're in integrity with our core values. And quite often, like if you have the core value of honesty and integrity and you're with somebody who's showing signs of dishonesty and a lack of integrity, then that's not the right person for you. You're not in alignment with your core values. If you believe in a spiritual path and you're with, an atheist, you're probably not in alignment with your core values. If you believe in fidelity and monogamy and you're a very monogamous person, you probably shouldn't be with somebody who dates a million other people or who doesn't believe in monogamy or who's into having sex outside of their marriage or their primary relationship, right? So you really want to look like, am I alignment with my own integrity, with my own core values, and am I surrounding myself with people who are also in alignment with my integrity and core values? So you got to get really clear on that, and you got to get better at setting boundaries, especially if you are a codependent, especially if you have been raised in a way that you learned that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, which is codependent response to accommodate, people please, put other people above yourself, to be a pathological giver. You've got to learn to have some boundaries around your empathy. It's super important. In this video, what I'm going to talk about is a little bit more about the end of the relationship with the narcissist, new supply, sort of like how that whole deal is going on, what it looks like, all those sorts of things. Typically, if you were in a relationship with, say, a covert narcissist, you could have been in a long-term relationship, really long time, and you could have been married, you could have children with them, and all of a sudden, you find out that could be after decades or years that they have moved on, or there's typically overlap. You find out that they're cheating on you, they have a new girlfriend or boyfriend, or maybe they weren't even cheating on you, but they literally get into another relationship like a week after you guys broke up and you guys were together for a really long time. Like, that's actually not healthy. I'm not saying that normal people don't sometimes do that are not narcissistic, but healthy people take breaks. They take a break in the relationship. They don't go straight back onto dating apps. They heal themselves. They grieve. They feel the loss. I heard one time that when you're walking through grief, you better feel it. You better walk through it. You better experience it. Walk through it. Feel the feelings. Because and then you're going to get out on the other side, right? Which is totally true for grief and loss. But if you stuff it, if you ignore it, if you don't deal with it, if you, drink alcoholically over it, if you throw yourself into a new romantic relationship and all you're doing is distracting yourself. And if you don't feel your feelings, they are going to come out sideways later, right? So you repress your feelings, you ignore them, they're going to come out in all these weird sideways moves later on. So I think that's important for all of us. So if were in a relationship with a narcissist and you are shell-shocked because they quickly moved on to someone else or they were cheating on you or whatever, if you are taking the time to grieve, that is a great sign. If you are not dating, if you're just taking some time to mourn, to be sad, to self-reflect, to introspect, to try to analyze what your contribution was, is so important. If there is a breakup, I don't care if it's with a narcissist or anyone, if you have a breakup, it is so important for you to honor the truth that you have sad feelings and that you're hurt and that there's a loss there and that you're grieving. It is so important that we take the time to heal and to be like, yeah, I'm sad. I feel loss. I'm sorrowful. I'm grieving. Go through the stages of the grieving process. Do not just start, trying to start a new relationship before you've properly healed from the last one. And that's just healthy advice. Whether you're with a narcissist or not, it almost doesn't matter. And, you might see if you were with one that they're skipping along merrily into the sunshine. It's kind of actually sort of odd, right? Sometimes they might slip into a brand new family and discard their own children and then slip into this new family that has, new children, and they can't be bothered about theirs, but they're all of a sudden all about their new source of supplies family and that person's kids and that person's parents. It's very, very weird. But the key is that they're not taking a break. They're not looking inward. They're not self-reflecting. They're not going to therapy. They're not looking at their part. These patterns existed way before you ever came along. These patterns are persistent in their life. These patterns prevail. And if they don't get any help to change these patterns, they are going to do this again and again and again. Idealization, devaluation, discard. This is their pattern. And look, we all have patterns that are unhealthy in relationships. But the key is to stop, to look at them, to see what they are, to go, oh my gosh, this is a pattern for me, and to figure out what you can do to change it. And if you are powerless to change it yourself, that is where outside help comes in. That is where therapy, spiritual work, 12-step recovery, that is where outside help can assist you. Because obviously people have healed from a lot of these issues, So during the love bombing, the narcissist is not abusing the new source of supply. They're not. They are love bombing the new source. So everything looks rosy. You look at them on social media and it's like rainbows and lollipops, because that new source of supply is just getting the love bombing. And remember, if they have trauma, if that new source of supply has trauma, like you did when you met the narcissist, it's, trauma survivors are very susceptible to love bombing. It is very compelling to them. And so that, that new source of supply is in the haze and the fog of this love bombing. And so they're not going to hear or listen to anything you have to say. Meanwhile, the narcissist is discarding you, treating you with contempt, disdain, stonewalling, silent treatment, passive-aggressive communication, breadcrumbing, and they're love bombing this new source, right? And that new source feels like they're the freaking unicorn. They feel like they've hit the jackpot, You and I both know they haven't, but that's how they feel. So if you're noticing this, that everything looks amazing and peachy king and everything's great, this might cause you a lot of self-doubt. You might look at yourself. If you're actually a healthy, normal person, you might look at yourself and go, maybe I was the problem. Narcissists don't do that. They're like, you're the problem. But you might go, maybe I was the problem. But look at the narcissist's life. Do they have close, connected, emotionally intimate, long-term relationships with friends and family? Or are all of their relationships surface, shallow, activity-based, or familial out of obligation, but they're not close, they're not connected, they're not warm, they're not rich, they're not emotionally intimate? Do they have a pattern in their past relationships of idealization, devaluation, and discard? You might not know this, you might not see this, but did they discard you and the children? Did they discard you and their old friends that knew both of you and knew that they were not on the line? Did they just discard? Do they just discard relationships? That's something to notice. Is this person vulnerable, honest, and authentic with their friends and family, with you, with everyone? Or are they sneaky, closed off, emotionally unavailable, and they have surface, shallow relationships? And again, you look at this person. Did they discard anyone who wasn't buying into their mask of perfection? So don't stress too much if you're looking at this. And by the way, you shouldn't be looking at their social media. Look, If you got out of a relationship with a narcissist, you should absolutely not be looking at their social media. It is triggering you. No contact is the key. That means no contact on the phone, on social media, and everything. Even third party, flying monkeys. Like, you don't want to know what's going on in that person's life. It's going to trigger you, send you into an emotional flashback, and it's bad for you. So get off of the social media. But if you can't stop yourself and you're watching their social media and it looks peachy keen and everything's amazing with their new source of supply, you just have to know it's a ruse. It's a ruse. It's a facade. Yes, the love bombing is happening. The new source of supply has no idea. They have no idea that they're being bamboozled, that it's a con job, that this person is a con man or woman. But it's not real. So I know it looks amazing, and you might have all these feelings of jealousy and insecurity and like there's something wrong with me, but I really suggest that you stop looking at that and start looking inward and heal yourself. The thing that's wrong with you, if anything, probably is that you don't have healthy boundaries. And when somebody shows these red flags of being a toxic person, you didn't walk away. You thought you could change them. You thought your love would fix them. Your love cannot fix other people. People have to want to fix themselves. It is an inside job. So I hope you're practicing radical self-care, and I hope you're doing really, really well. Take care. Bye-bye.